Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are opening up the playbook for one of the most important and, let's be honest, most misunderstood roles in the tech world, the product manager.
Almost every seasoned product manager has felt this quote in their bones at some point. It's kind of harsh, right? But it gets at a fundamental truth. You've got engineers who build the thing, designers who make it beautiful and usable, marketers who tell the world about it. So where in the world does the product manager actually fit?
Exactly. If they're not writing the code and they're not designing the pixels, what do they really do all day? Well, the answer is somehow both super simple and incredibly complex. And it all starts with understanding their unique spot in the middle of all the beautiful chaos that comes with making something new. To really get the role, you've got to picture the PM as a kind of conductor. Not for a fancy orchestra, but for chaos. The brilliant, messy, and creative chaos that is product development.
This right here, this is the core of it. A product manager's real power doesn't come from their job title. It comes from earning trust. See, they don't manage people. They manage the product. Their entire job is to own the what and the why, and then guide the whole team toward that shared goal, mostly just by using influence and really clear communication.
Let's stick with that conductor idea for a second. The conductor doesn't play the cello or the French horn, right? Their job is to make sure every single musician is playing the right note at the exact right time, so it all comes together in harmony. That is the PM. They're the ones making sure that design, engineering, and marketing are all playing from the same sheet music, creating a symphony instead of just a bunch of noise.
Okay, so let's clear up one of the biggest points of confusion out there. A product manager is not a project manager. It's a super common mix-up. Think of it this way. The project manager owns the how and the when. They're all about schedules, resources, and execution. The product manager, on the other hand, owns the what and the why. They set the bigger picture, the strategic direction, and what success for the actual product even looks like.
And this leads us to what's often called the product triangle. A PM literally lives at the crossroads of these three worlds: design, development, and marketing. They need to be fluent in the language of all three. They translate what customers need into something engineers can build, and then translate what the engineers built into a story the market can get excited about. They're kind of like the human API connecting all these crucial parts of the company.
All right, so now we know where a product manager sits in the organization. Now let's get to what is, without a doubt, their most critical job: finding the right problem to solve. Because let's face it, there's a whole sea of possibilities out there. Which one is actually worth your team's time and effort?
The best PMs always start with why. This idea comes from Simon Sinek's Golden Circle. Before you can even think about what to build, you have to get to the very heart of the company's purpose. I mean, think about a company like Apple. They don't just sell you electronics, do they? Their whole brand is about challenging the status quo. That why becomes the North Star for every single decision a PM makes. So once you've got the company's why locked in, you have to ask the next huge question. Who exactly is our customer? Because here's a secret. You can't build an amazing product for everybody. It just doesn't work.
And to figure that out, great PMs create what we call personas. And no, these are not just boring checklists of demographics. They are rich, fictional characters that are designed to build empathy. The whole point isn't just to know a user's age. It's to really ask, what are the biggest daily frustrations for IT Tech Tom? What would truly make his life easier? That deep focus is what separates a pretty good product from an absolutely great one.
But how do you even know if you're on the right track? Well, it is so easy to get fooled by what we call vanity metrics. Sure, 1 million downloads sounds amazing, but it's totally useless if 99% of those people open the app once and never come back. Actionable metrics are different. They measure what people do, like the percentage of users who actually finish a key task. They don't just tell you what happened, they help you start to understand why it happened. Okay, so you did it. You found a real validated opportunity. The next big challenge is, how do you translate that exciting idea into a concrete blueprint that your team can actually start building?
Back in the day, a lot of companies used what's called a waterfall approach. You'd plan every single detail up front and then just stick to the plan no matter what. But modern tech companies almost all prefer Agile. And why is that? Because it's iterative. You build something small, you learn really fast from actual users, and then you adapt. It's designed to respond to change, not fight against it.
And right at the heart of Agile is the MVP, the minimum viable product. Now, the most misunderstood word here isn't minimum, it's viable. An MVP isn't supposed to be a broken, unfinished mess. It's about finding the fastest way to learn. The goal is to build the absolute smallest thing you can that still delivers real value. That way, you can test your biggest assumptions before you go and spend months building something it turns out nobody wanted.
To keep the team on track, the PM is responsible for the Product Requirements Document, or PRD. But you can just forget those dusty 100-page documents from the past. A modern PRD is a living, breathing guide. It's the one place everyone on the team can go to understand the purpose, the people we're building for, and what our path to success looks like.
And this, right here, is the secret weapon of a truly great PRD: storytelling. A simple list of features is boring and easy to forget, but a user scenario, a story about how your persona, let's call him Rob, uses your product to solve a really annoying problem, that's different. That actually activates the parts of the brain tied to real experience. It builds genuine empathy and gets everyone on the same page in a way that a simple bulleted list just never could.
Okay, the moment has arrived. The product is built, it's tested, it's ready for the world. But the PM's job is so far from over. In fact, it's really just entering a brand new and totally critical phase.
This quote just says it all, doesn't it? The launch is not the finish line, it's the starting pistol. Now the real work starts. Now you have to get the product into your customers' hands. See what they actually do with it, and learn everything you can from their behavior out there in the wild.
So how do you measure what's happening after launch? A classic framework for this is called AARR, or as it's affectionately known, pirate metrics, because, AARR. It gives PMs a simple funnel to check the health of their product. Are people finding us? That's acquisition. Are they having a good first run experience? That's activation. Are they actually coming back? Retention. Do they like it enough to tell their friends? Referral. And finally, will they pay for it? Revenue. This tells you where your product is strong and where it's leaking.
So the product is out there, the data is starting to pour in, the team is looking at the numbers and figuring out what they mean. So that leads us to the final, all-important question: what happens now?
And the answer is, the cycle starts all over again. And that really is the true essence of great product management. It's not a straight line with a beginning and an end. It's a continuous loop. The data and learnings from today's launch become the inspiration for tomorrow's next big feature, or even the next product. So you see, the ultimate job of a PM isn't just to ship a product. It's to build a learning engine that is always asking, what's next? So you can keep building products that customers don't just use, but that they truly love.